I saw Stranger Things The First Shadow. Here is my complete, spoiler-free, mostly spoiler-free review, analysis, everything like that. And I'm gonna answer the big question, is this show canon? Should it be canon? Is it fair to do that to an audience, to make a theoretically canon piece, only to lock it to the theater? That's expensive. It's an expensive gig, and it's geographic. Not everyone has the means to travel to see this. Real quick, I want to shout out all my other theater reviews I've done. I have one for Hadestown, The Cursed Child, Glengarry Glen Ross, all shows I've seen. I'm kind of a theater channel over here. So Stranger Things The First Shadow, honestly, spoilers wise, there's not even that much to spoil. Everything we pretty much know already as far as the main story goes, this kind of just fills in the gaps. This show is really about Henry Creel and his time growing up in Hawkins as a teenager. We see his time in high school, we see him struggle with the voices in his hair, we see his relationship a lot more with Dr. Brenner leading up to, you know, long hair number one as we know him. But the show also has a pretty substantial storyline with Hopper, Joyce, and Bob Newby. That's right. So real quick, I'll get it out of the way. Yes, the show is canon, and it does do a good job of being a entertaining way to tell the story of Henry Creel in a much more organized and like streamlined way. Because in the series, we get some bits and pieces of his life. Oh, you know, he killed his parents. Oh, things like that. And then obviously we get kind of like that jump to where he's, like I said, that number one, you know, blonde haired number one, you know, his relationship with Eleven. And I do think this makes Henry Creel a lot more interesting, a lot more complex, because we see a side of him aside from like just creepy kid, creepy little, like, you know, evil child. We see a different side of him from that. We see a side of him that's a little funny, that, you know, can mess around, that can be a teenager. And I really like that. Really think it humanizes the character. He goes to high school with Joyce and Hopper and Eddie Munson's dad and all the parents pretty much. And we see some interactions with him and Hopper and Joyce, all these characters, and they do a good job of a good enough job. I really want to rewatch the show leading up to this new series, because you would think like, hey, if Joyce and Hopper are connected to, you know, Henry Creel as a teenager, you know, wouldn't they be a lot more like, okay, that's what's going on right now in the show? They do a good job of cleaning it all up so that Joyce and Hopper, they're just as clueless to, you know, the Brenner lab, all that experiments, things like that when we get to season 1 of the show. The guy that plays Henry Creel, Louis McCartney, I think that's his name. Really good, dude. Really good. In general, I thought the whole entire cast was pretty good. Honestly, the standout for me, though, was I didn't even know he was from, I think, Grey's Anatomy. The guy that played Henry Creel's dad, Victor Creel, he was fantastic, dude. He was really good. I thought he was phenomenal. And as far as the other parents goes, Joyce is cool. Joyce, the lady that plays Joyce, she's pretty Joyce coded. She does a good job. You know, Hopper's kind of just like the cool guy, too cool for school, but not like cool, kind of just like, you know, kind of the bad boy of town. You can get that. Eddie Munson's dad is like the weirdo method actor. Lucas's parents don't really do much, but, you know, props to them for making Dustin's dad like a jerk, for making him awful, because you would want to, oh yeah, all the kids that we love, their parents, they're gonna be cool too. No, Dustin's dad sucks. He's awful in this one. He is such a douche, such an annoying little spaz. He's the worst. He's awful. And the guy that plays Dr. Brenner, I actually found out he was cast in the next season of Stranger Things. That's kind of interesting. Not as young Brenner, because he plays young Brenner here, but he's pretty good too. I will say I do have a critique with the show, and that is that on a few occasions, it gets a little too like cheeky in its prequelisms, right? The main example I've been telling people is in the beginning, they do this big like introduction sequence of like, hey, here's who everyone is. And they do it through this like photo session, like the class photo. It's actually a cool scene. But when they're describing everyone, obviously Joyce starts the show with Lonnie, everyone's favorite guy, Lonnie Byers. He's awful. He's a big douche. She starts the show with him, so she's still with him in this. That's the high school sweetheart, right? And when they're introducing everyone, they're like, that's Joyce, you know, whatever her maiden name is. And she's with Lonnie, and he sucks. I don't know why she's with Lonnie, that freaking nerd. Except he's not a nerd, he's just cheats on her, like, just all the time. And then that's Hopper, the guy that she really should be with, and one day will finally come to realize it. Who knows? Maybe they'll take it for They don't say that last part, but like, you know what I'm saying? Kind of a little cheeky like that. But also the effects, dude. The effects in this show are fantastic, dude. The whole vibe of this is great. The opening scene of this starts off as like one of the earliest, you know, ventures of mankind into the Upside Down, at least as far as we're aware. It is so freaking epic, dude. You get Demogorgons picking guys off. It's so freaking sick, dude. It's this massive spectacle that just goes hard cuts into the Stranger Things logo, the title sequence. Oh, getting me hyped, dude, just talking about it. It's so freaking cool. It's like one of the best parts of the show. Everyone should witness this because it's so freaking sweet. There are some other cool effects here and there. You know, Henry Creel using his powers to, you know, telekinesis stuff, other things like that. And it's a pretty freaky show. I will say that. As far as like a family audience, I could see some younger kids being a little spooked by some of this because it doesn't really tone down some of those horror elements from, you know, Stranger Things at its peak horror. But I will say, like, the peak horror you can expect from Stranger Things, the show, that's about as far as it goes in here. So, like, a little crazy, probably for a younger audience, but for horror fans, pretty light stuff. But, dude, the big effect of the show, this might be a spoiler. You can skip ahead like 20 seconds if you don't want me to talk about this. The big effect of the show, they do this, like, giant, massive mind flare. It's the most, like, epic thing I've ever seen live in like a live show, in a live production. It's like spreading throughout the crowd. Holy crap, dude. Dude, honestly, that and the intro, worth seeing alone. For those two effects, if you're a fan of Stranger Things, it is so freaking cool. The story itself, I will say overall, aside from Henry Creel, because I think that's really good, I think the Joyce and Hopper and Bob stuff, it's good enough, right? It's there to fill in the gaps between the Henry Creel story. It's fine. Like I said, sometimes a little too cheeky, but the actors are good. You get some Stranger Things, you know, like flashlights in the dark, kind of mystery vibes. That's kind of cool, and I like that, you know, they don't come to all the right conclusions with this. You get some resolution to their story and like the goal they're trying to achieve without it being like, you know, kind of the Stranger Things vibe of like little kids versus like big government conspiracy and the kids win, kind of, you know what I'm saying? Especially because they don't have an 11 on their side as far as like the Joyce, Hopper, and Bob goes. I will say Cursed Child, Harry Potter is the better effect show overall, only because it has a lot more effects. Obviously, Stranger Things, a lot of classroom vibes, a lot of like, you know, mystery in the forest vibes. Don't really need a lot of effects there. Henry Creel in his attic. But when the effects are there, they're absolutely insane. Overall, though, effect for effect, just because of the quantity, I would say Harry Potter's a little better. They also do some fun, like, you know, crowd participation. Not participation, but like they got actors going up and down the rows. I always like that. I think it's cool. The whole entire theater, very immersive. The outside facade of the hotel, super cool. It is a little strange though, how it's like lobby, lobby, lobby. Stranger Things, Henry Creel's house, everyone's gonna die. But overall, I really liked it. If you haven't seen the series, you'd probably enjoy it. But if you have seen the series and you're able to see it, I would recommend it. I think it's really good. Anyways, though, that's my video. Thanks so much for watching. I just realized I'm wearing this Saints shirt, and they're gonna win, hopefully a lot of games this year. It's gonna be tough. But thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for being around. Yeah.